Hello, film world. I am the Patrick, your host of Tomorrow Comes Movies, the podcast that spoiler talks movies. And each episode, I'll be joined by a guest co-host from a roster of movie fans to varying degrees. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back. Trying to think here, what are the announcements? So I'm on break. I was originally only going to do 2 to 3 weeks in July, but I'm not coming back until August. I'm getting out of my burnouts. I think we're almost through it. Trying to get back into my movie groove, but I'm also working on things outside of the podcast. That is also another factor in terms of career and where I'm going. I have some announcements to make, but I'm not ready to do them yet on the podcast, but very exciting things for me. So I am excited to eventually share it with you, as I think I used excited so many times in that part. So with the action series, I thought I was going to wrap it up, but I am not going to be able to wrap it up this month. So it's going to go into August. I think we have about 5 or 6 more episodes. And then Hidden Gems of Cinema will resume as well when I'm done for my break. And with that, since I've been on break, I've been thinking about the future of Tomorrow Comes Movies. And a lot is going to be changing. And when I'm ready to share that as well, I will let you know. I just want to state the podcast is not going to be over. It's just there's some things I would like to change about it. And in due time, you'll understand. And so I just want to thank everybody who's come onto my podcast so far. And I thank all the listeners for the patience of getting these episodes out. I'm kind of finally got into a groove with a weekly schedule of Fridays. So hopefully that will maintain. And also shout out to everyone who's supposed to come onto the podcast, who has to wait, who's been on standby, because I've been on this break, but it was necessary for me to do this. And I appreciate your patience. And what else? Oh, this episode may have a little bit of some audio, strange things in the audio. I had to hire an engineer because there was an issue in this recording. And this is the first time I've actually had to hire somebody. And so for the most part, it's pretty much the same, but you're going to hear some strange things or a couple parts where the voice may sound doubled up. Not a problem. It's just you have a mic bleed issue, which is when 2 audios enter one track. Because whenever you come onto the show, to pull back the curtain, each track is recorded separately of each participant. So somebody who comes on my show, they have a separate audio track, and then I have my own audio track. And so this episode, the guest co-host vocals went into my track, but it's still a fun episode. And also, this is a unique episode because this was an opportunity presented to me with this film, and I'm very grateful and thankful for the opportunity to review a movie that isn't entirely out yet. And so I hope that when it does come out, a lot of you will check it out. But, one more thing before we introduce the guest co-host. This is an audio-only release podcast. This particular episode features a first-time guest co-host. Now, this is somebody, I didn't think this would ever be possible, but there is somebody who knew me before I was the Patrick. This guest knew me way before anybody that's come onto the show. And I'm very excited to have them come on. So please welcome my good friend from high school who knew me before I was the Patrick. Please welcome my friend Juan Villa. How you doing, Juan?
Hello there.
Did I say your last name right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
did I?
No, you did, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. So this is a really strange episode because, to pull back the curtain here, Juan and I are actually recording this in person, where I normally do remotely, but he had to come over to my place to watch this particular movie. But yeah, you knew me before I was the Patrick. You knew me as Patrick, don't say my last name, but redacted. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Just glad to be here and spend some time with you too, and it's kind of rare when we get to hang out, but we try to make it work here and there, right?
So for those who know me as the Patrick, how would you describe me? Because you didn't know me as the Patrick, you just knew me from high school because that's where we met.
I mean, we we all knew you as just Patrick, not the Patrick. And and we will all say that you were like the funny guy, the 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 joker, you know what I mean? The one that made everyone laugh, you know what I mean? And you always like say quick on your feet, and smooth with the jokes and everything. So, for example, today, right? We you know, just to what I mean, just a little example, right? But yeah, you were like the smooth, smooth talker. I know you don't really think that of yourself, but you always that's how I kind of remember you back in high school. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna pull back. Let me keep pulling back the curtain here. So I had to go take something to the post office, and we're in line, and it's long. What he's talking about, the smooth talker, was there was this employee who just happened to be very attractive, and I am so done with the post office. By the way, I want to go home and do this review, but I had to go do this. And Juan decides to strike up a conversation. Mr. Smooth Talker over here. He starts talking to her. And he's like, like, I don't what did you say to her exactly to start that conversation?
I was just like, hey, busy, right? She's like, yeah, busy day, and we just started talking. You saw you were there,
Yeah,
and
he doesn't sound as smooth, but he was smooth in
yeah,
that moment. He was just like, "Busy, huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, I like it when it's busy." I think, like, you said something along the lines of, like, I think it was like, yeah, like, it's a long line, and you're like, "Yeah, it's all good." I think she mentioned long line. You're like, "It's all good. We have nothing to do today."
yeah,
And
we have all the time.
I immediately look over at him because I'm like, "Oh, really?" And I just go, "Do we have all day today? Like, are we free?" And she thought that was funny. She goes, "He clearly," like, she's talking about me. She goes, "He wants to go home." And I think you mentioned what you kind of like, your general area of where you worked,
Yeah,
and you were like, "Yeah, I took off the day. I'm good." Like, you know what I mean? And you're like, "Yeah, it's all good." And I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "All right. So next Monday we're gonna do this again, right? We'll just meet up with her." It was so funny because
I mean, she was having
yeah,
uh, she looks like she was enjoying herself. One, doing her job, and then two, just someone asked her about how's the day going. You know what I mean? And she
yeah.
she didn't seem like she minded that at all. You know what I mean? Just talking to us. You know what I mean?
No, in fact, I was telling Juan after the exchange, I was just like, "Yeah, I did not expect her to be as this chipper." Because, like, if you ever meet people from the post office, they're miserable,
She
right?
was
Like,
super friendly,
yeah,
and
you could tell this is, like, a new job for her because she's like, "I like the busy." She was very friendly, but I was so convinced that, like, we were not gonna have a discussion with her. I was
I
just
mean,
like,
she
"I
was
need a
smiling
receipt."
and everything, and
Yeah, I think next Monday she's gonna be waiting for us. I think she's gonna be like, "Where are the 2
but
guys at?"
but you came in with a joke at the perfect time. You know what I mean? Where
You can't say things like, "It's
and
all
she just
good. We have
started,
nothing to do today." And I'm just looking over like, "Really?" Like, "Okay." And then, like, I had to do that last joke where I'm like, "Okay, so we'll be back next Monday to see you." And we should show up next Monday with no package and just be like, "Hey, let's do it again." With our
mm,
luck, she won't even be there.
when
But
she
yeah.
started laughing, giggling,
Yeah, Juan thought I was smooth in that. I was just like, it was a perfect time to tell a joke, I felt like, in that setting. But welcome to Tomorrow Comes Movies, and we're gonna do your introduction, which you kind of briefly talked about. We met in high school. Not much has changed outside of I guess I think the humor might be a little different from the last time. But yeah, yeah, I was one of the funny guys in the group. There's a lot of funny guys in our group, but um we're going to talk a little bit about your background in movies. And so the first question is, what film or films, excuse me, made you realize I love movies? I mean, do you love movies? I don't know.
No, no, I do. I
Okay.
do. I do love movies. Maybe obviously I'm not, in like
Like me.
well, what I'm saying, like you or some of your your followers, whatever. But I mean, I do love movies. I want to say the Mummy. The Mummy, that was like my first. It wasn't my first movie in theaters. It was the second one actually. Um, and I went with my older cousin, and that movie just like I think it was what year to come out, like 97, I believe, or something, or 90s. The Mummy? Okay. 99. So that was the second movie I ever went to, in theaters. And it just everything about that movie, it just blew my mind, I guess. The action, cinematography,
Humor.
the humor, yeah, the humor. I mean, even the actors, I think they did a good job, you know what I mean? That movie, So it was something, it was a good experience for me.
Yeah. Any other movies, or that just that one really stuck out at the moment?
I want to say that one. That's like the one that really, I guess you could say, got me into liking movies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm also laughing because like when we're talking to each other, I have
Oh
this
yeah,
gigantic computer in my face, so I have to look at him in the mirror because like
yeah,
halfway through I wasn't even looking at
yeah.
him in the beginning. I don't know if you know this. I actually met Brendan Fraser.
Oh, you did? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah, at
think
a
you
convention. I have a
you
signed
mentioned it before, right?
Mummy Funko,
Mm.
but I wish I could say I had a. He was really nice. I should say that, but my interaction with him was like I didn't want him to steal my paint pen. Yes, so like
You
in
were worried about that?
Yes, in the whole time he's like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "Hey, it's good to meet you. I'm a huge fan of like, I'm excited." And this is right before he won the Oscar for The Whale, and he's like totally like perplexed that I'm not like as like he thinks I'm nervous, but I'm not really nervous. I'm like, I want my fucking pen because I've had people take the pens. Because like I don't know if you ever used a paint pen?
No, I don't think
So
so.
the paint pens are really good on the Funko Pops
Okay.
because if you use like marker or something else, they kind of like they don't look as good. Where a paint pen, if you shake it a little bit, you let it kind of you test it out, it'll look really good. Now you have to worry about chipping, obviously. But it was really cool to meet him because, like I said, he would end up winning the Oscar. Because I've always been a Brendan Fraser fan, but yeah, the first Mummy is really good. It's funny. Everyone always talks about that first Mummy. Nobody ever says anything about the Mummy Returns.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I love the Mummy Returns, but nobody ever brings that up.
I like the Mummy Returns, but to be honest, the first one is that's the one I really like. I
You know
think
they're
it's
making another one, right?
yeah, yeah.
Are you excited for that?
I
They're
mean,
all coming
I'll
back.
definitely check it out. I'll
Yeah.
definitely check it out because they're the original cast, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely it's something I would check out for sure.
I'm excited for I mean, like I said, after that third one was really tough for me with the
Hmm.
one with Jet Li.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that
was
one.
not it. Yeah, it was just a totally different type of movie. But that's I mean, like, that's the thing about this podcast is everyone has a different experience about what makes them love movies. It's always funny to me when people share what movies because as I was telling Juan that in if you're a big fan of movies, just like sports or anything, there's always these jerks that are like you say The Mummy and they're like, "Really? That's the movie that." But like it is. If it is, it is. Like, right? Who cares? Like, but like I think that's a cool story that it ties into you going to the movies. Now, here's a question about the movies,
Mhm.
similar. Do you still go to the movies?
Yeah, I mean, I do not as often as maybe I used to, but if it's a good movie that catches my attention, then for sure, I will definitely check it out.
I love how I
Yeah.
ask these questions to him as if he
Yes.
doesn't I know him, right? Like, is it funny? I'm asking these questions and Juan's just looking at me like, you know this. Because we saw the last movie that I believe that you went to the theaters was with me, was we saw
Yeah.
Obsession. Yeah, I had talked about this movie so much to him. He's like, "Let's go check it out." And what'd you
Well,
think?
you sent me
The
the
trailer.
trailer,
And
and
you
I'm
were
like,
sold
okay,
on it.
and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's I'm not even a big horror movie,
No.
guy either, but I was like, okay, that looks interesting, it sounds
Yeah.
good, and it was good. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Obsession was kind of like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like like it pisses you off, it kind of, and then it gets you hyped up, right, and then it just, it's just like it kind of takes you all over the place. You know what I mean?
It's a how-to manual for, like, people, especially guys, like, what not to do.
Yeah.
Yes, just shoot your shot, I'm telling you. You will never regret if you shoot your
Yep.
shot. Um, Now outside of The Mummy, is there any other movies that, like, you consider, like, some of your is there, like, favorite movies? Is there what other movies come to mind?
Favorite movies?
Yeah.
Oh, Dark Knight for sure. Saving Private Ryan. Fury was one of the newer ones, but Troy's another one. Yeah, I would say those are like definitely one of my, in my top, as far as movies.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Bullet, actually Bullet. That's right, Bullet. Bullet.
that's what you
That
come for Tomorrow Comes Movies. We wanna hear something like Bullet.
Bullet.
Yeah, Steve McQueen, right?
He's one of my for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and so The Dark Knight, totally down. Fury, I do like Fury. It's funny, I had Troy playing in the background recently, and I forgot there's a part in this movie where they go and get Brad Pitt's character,
Yeah.
Troy, Achilles, and this kid's like, says something to him like, "Oh, wow, like, I don't think I could ever be like you," and he's like, "That's why nobody will remember you." Can you
Yeah.
imagine someone said that to you?
Yeah. That's.
What would that do to you as a kid? Do you think that would motivate you to be
I mean,
remembered?
for me personally, it will probably push me more and motivate me more. For me personally, I was you said it's like fire, just
Yeah.
keep me pushing and motivate me more.
Yeah, I have to, like, my you know me, I'm petty, so I'm exactly I'm like, Okay, whatever you are, sir, I'm gonna make sure I see you at the end." I'm there when he dies at the end of Troy, like, I'm gonna be there, be like, Who's gonna remember you now, asshole? Of course, they're all gonna remember him because of Achilles. But yeah, those are some good movies. Now I'm going to do this thing. I'm gonna switch it up real quickly here. We're gonna go to this one question, and it kind of pertains to the title of the movie. But I'm gonna name some actors and actresses,
Okay.
and you reply with either GOAT or not. Now, GOAT means you think they're one of the greatest of all time,
Yeah.
or not, you're like, I don't think they're there yet, or
Mhm.
in your opinion, they're not. And here's a list, and we're gonna go through one each. So I'm gonna say the name, you tell me GOAT or not. The first one, Matt Damon.
I think he's a great actor. Um, Great role too. But I don't think he's, for me personally, not the
So not.
not. Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna say GOAT because actually, I don't know if you know this, Matt Damon's one of my favorite
Yeah.
actors. That made me laugh. That makes me laugh. Okay. I personally love him because of the Bourne movies, Good Will
Yeah.
Hunting. The Odyssey's coming out soon, so I'm excited for that. So next actor, Penelope Cruz.
Not.
Not. Okay. I'm gonna say GOAT because I didn't appreciate Penelope Cruz for years. And now I see the brilliance that as a young man, a young child did not understand. But yeah, she's really talented. Now here's another one. There's a lot of these that I'm kind of curious to know what you think. Because you're not as big into movies as me, so this is
Yeah.
real fun for me. Is okay, next one, Emma Stone. This is a two-time Oscar winner. I just want to throw that out there.
I mean, for me personally, not.
Okay. Uh, Emma Stone's one of my favorites, so GOAT. I mean, that woman can do no wrong for me. I mean, what was the last Emma Stone movie you've seen? Do you know? Was it Superbad?
Yeah, I think that was.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably why too.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna need to bring you back
yeah.
on and have you watch one of her later movies where she gets really into the Oscar thing
Okay.
because she's incredible, but it's all good. There's no judgment here. Next one, Will Smith.
Goat for sure. Yeah.
I agree, GOAT.
Goat.
I mean,
Uh,
there was a time, right? Will Smith was the box office king.
mhm.
Like, he may not make as many prestigious movies,
Yeah.
but when he makes a movie like Ali,
Yep.
Pursuit of Happiness,
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend,
You
you're
know what I
like,
mean?
okay, yeah, I see that he can be one of the I think he's one of the all-time greats because
Yeah.
to maintain the level of quality that he did in blockbuster era, we haven't seen that in again, maybe outside of Tom Cruise would be the other
Mhm.
one. Okay, so I say GOAT on that one. Okay, here's one. We're gonna go back in time here. Steve McQueen,
Of course, the goat too. 'Cause
GOAT.
he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Oh, back in the day, actors, you could say.
I mean, has anybody the king of cool? No one's ever
Yeah.
been cooler than Steve McQueen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
if you would've
Bullet.
said
You
nah,
can't
I
go
think
wrong.
this
I mean, Bullet. and
Great Escape.
Great Escape is, they're
Yeah.
really good movies.
The Thomas Crown Affair. Like, yeah, if you would have said not, this podcast would have been done. It's been the shortest podcast in history. Okay, next one. Because Steve McQueen's a GOAT for me. Next one. Javier Bardem. GOAT. Right? Because No Country for Old
Yep.
Men, right? Yeah,
Definitely. That's
nobody's ever
definitely.
played that better. Okay, next one. Oscar winner. Just want to throw this out here. Forrest
Yep.
Whitaker.
Goat
GOAT.
for me
That's
too.
right.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, next one. He was big in the 90s. Antonio Banderas.
Goat.
GOAT.
Also,
Desperado lives forever with me. Yeah, I got to go with that. Okay, next one. Edward James Olmos.
for me, goat too.
Are you willing to stand and deliver to say that?
I mean, yeah. I mean that, and obviously, like, American Me. That's also. I think he nailed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For me,
I was telling you I haven't seen that, but
yeah.
I saw Stand and Deliver because Juan and I went to the same high school for I think I was there for 2 years, and then I left to go to another school. Let me tell you, in the 2 years at the high school that we went together, Stand and Deliver was shown more
I
times.
saw it a few
My
times too.
God, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but there's only so much of it that I can watch. Like, could you watch that right now?
Not because I've seen it so many times. Also,
Yes.
you know what I mean. Especially in high school, you said. I don't know why they just kept,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
playing that movie, over and over again.
Yes, and it's funny is Stand and Deliver is in the same category as this movie that I know you're a fan of. It's like White Chicks for me. I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
I've seen it too many times. I don't want to. They're good movies, but I can't do it anymore. Okay, and the last one of this GOAT or Not series, legendary actor. Almost said the wrong one. Kurt Russell.
Yeah, goat.
GOAT. Yes. I mean, The Thing, Escape from New York,
Tombstone.
Tombstone. That's right. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's one of, actually, I think that's one of my favorite movies from him.
Well, yeah, Tombstone's
for him.
amazing. Okay, and the last question of your introduction is, I know we just named a few actors here, but I want you to name some of your favorite actors, actresses, and directors.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I love Keanu Reeves. I don't know. For me, I just like his movies.
Oh, yeah. He's
He
good.
has a lot of good movies, I think,
Yeah. Yeah. I think Keanu Reeves has a lot of.
and I like him as a person too. From based on what I've seen, on news, media, whatever, social media. He seems like a very chill, like a guy. You know what I mean? That a guy you could easily approach and talk to, have a conversation with, and besides that too, he also, I mean, he has some similarities. I guess he's into cars, motorcycles,
Yeah.
guns, so it's something that
Yeah. You guys could definitely
you
bond.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We could definitely, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's just like a, you know, type
Yeah.
of person that I could definitely, hang out with and just
Good
chill,
choice. Yeah. What about some other actors, actresses, and directors?
Brad Pitt. Brad
Okay.
Pitt. I love his movies too. I love a lot of his movies.
Yeah, he ruled the 2000s,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I love Brad Pitt. Let's see, well, Steve McQueen, obviously, you're, um, well, as far as directors or
Okay.
Steven Spielberg, I think he's my favorite.
You can't go wrong with Steven Spielberg. I mean, you love Saving Private Ryan. We had a conversation about I think Great Escape is the greatest war movie, and you say that Saving Private Ryan is the greatest war movie.
As
And
World War II, yes. As far as World
yeah,
War II,
both
yes.
of them. Yeah,
Hmm.
both of them. I mean, yeah. It's funny is like I don't know if in the World War II conversation of movies, I wonder if either one of those gets brought up with most audiences. I wonder. Most likely yours versus mine. People are like, "What is the Great Escape?"
They probably don't know what.
Yeah. Anybody else outside of Spielberg?
As far as directors,
Yeah. I'll say some names here.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
his movies. I like his
Ridley
movies.
Scott. He did Gladiator. He did American
Okay, yeah, that
Gangster.
was that.
Black Hawk Down.
Oh, okay, that was the
Yeah.
him. Okay, but Steven, yeah, Quarantino for sure. I
Yeah.
think he's definitely
Now what about actresses? Is
actresses.
anybody has caught your eye? I mean, clearly we know how you feel about Cruz and Emma Stone. But like I'm trying
Hmm.
to think here.
Let's see. Okay, for actresses, Angelina Jolie. Back in the day, when she was in her prime.
Yeah. Yeah, Jolie was it's funny, man. I think it's because we haven't seen Jolie in a long time, but I watched Wanted and I was like, wow, man, she's so
Yeah,
good. It's funny that out of all the movies I could mention Wanted, but I always thought she was phenomenal in Wanted. Those are good choices overall. So that concludes your introduction, and we are going to review a movie. And this is an interesting movie because I'm going to put it in a series called Hidden Gems of Cinema.
Tomorrow Comes Movies presents Hidden Gems of Cinema.
Now, this is a movie series that's a treasure trove of films that are either unknown, underappreciated, underrated, or once popular fallen into obscurity now these days. So the movie we're going to review is called Goat Girl. I want to shout out Kelly for the opportunity to check out this movie because it just premiered in New York City on June 19th, and I'm very honored to check out this movie with my friend Juan. Now, right before we get into it, Juan, I'm going to give you the movie facts. Goat Girl was written and directed by Ana Asensio, and it stars Alessandra González, Juanca Fernández, Javier Pereira, and Gloria Menous. And the synopsis of this film is 8-year-old Elena prepares for her first communion while grappling with her grandmother's death. Her friendship with gypsy girl Sarazade, inseparable from her goat, makes Elena question her worldview. Now, I don't know when you're going to be able to watch Goat Girl, but just to let you know, we're going to spoil it, Juan and I. But I hope that when this comes near you or wherever it shows up, please check it out. It is worth a watch. Are you ready, Juan?
yeah.
Let's talk movies. Now, I usually would say if you haven't seen Go Girl, you should probably watch it. I believe it might be somewhere in theaters. If not, definitely say stick around, check out this review, and when it comes near you, wherever it shows up, I would say definitely watch it. It's a unique film, and I'm very grateful that my friend Juan was like, "Hey, let's check it out." So Juan, when I had asked you if you were interested
Mhm.
into this movie, I had kind of give you a brief synopsis of this, and I sent you
Yeah.
the trailer.
Yeah.
When you watch the trailer, out of all the movies you could have came on for this podcast, why was Go Girl the one you're like, I'll definitely come on and talk about it?
Yeah, it seemed like a interesting movie, something different, kinda mysterious too, in a way. So that's why I was like, "Okay, seems like a movie to check out, why not?"
Yeah, I have to shout out to Kelly Hargraves for this opportunity because I live for these type of movies. Like I love movies so much that I love, especially movies that are international and global. So this was definitely up my wheelhouse because I read the synopsis and I go love a coming of age movie, and I like movies that really shape me after I watch them because like I always tell people when it comes to movies, you should watch movies from other countries because it will shape the way you look at the world, your perspectives, and it definitely gives you insight into other people's worlds.
Learn something
Yeah,
different, maybe something new of
ex-
somebody else's culture, or
yeah, and it's rewarding because then you really are you understand things more. And I think that a thing about movies with people too is you become more empathetic in life, where you're like you understand things even if you don't really you're not from that culture, right? So yeah, I was very grateful for this opportunity. So first question, Juan. Is after Go Girl ended, what were some of your first impressions of the movie after it ended? Like, what were your first couple thoughts about this movie?
yeah, it's definitely a movie that, you know, you it's one of those movies, like you said, just like you don't really hear about maybe, but it's it's a interesting movie. And so like the open ending, it was definitely something that where you question yourself, right? Is it what is she gonna do? She gonna
Yeah, yeah. My first impressions of Goat Girl was it's a unique film in the sense of this coming of age where we see everything through her perspective. So to me, it had this like this childlike wonder in the beginning, but there's this curiosity to it that I kept coming back. I kept gravitating toward this story. Was like, where are we going? So I would say that this film was kind of a whirlwind. That would be my first impression because you and I were watching this, and there was like at one point I was like, I don't think I thought this movie was gonna go any the way it went. I had no idea this we were gonna be taken on this. So it's kind of like being on a it's like being on a ride right next to the main character, and we're just going through the motions, and it was unique and it was different. But there's a lot about it we could relate to,
Mhm.
right? We kept talking about that,
Yep,
like we could relate to this.
yep. So it was like a lot, like you said, it was something that I when I first saw the trailer, because you sent me the trailer, I thought it was gonna be like a little more darker, a little more, you know, um, mysterious. I mean, it was in its own way, but it was definitely a little different than I expected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the best way to. Yeah, it's different. Not what I expected either from a coming of age. And I think that I appreciated that factor. And so we're gonna go into the Go Girl movie. Let's start with the things that really stood out to you. What are some of the highlights of the movie? Like, was it? I'll give you examples: acting, the way it was filmed, the story. Like, what were some of the highlights of Go Girl for you?
I really liked, so, like, the part when they were the cinematography again, were showing, like, from her, perspective point of view. On the we talked about that too, it was really good. I think that they did a fantastic job showing from her point of view. And the acting, definitely the little girl, I think she did a good job, for her age, she definitely did a good job. I mean, I don't think me personally, if I was a kid that age trying to act, would have pulled something off like that.
Yeah, yeah. As someone who's currently in acting classes, it was interesting to watch this through that kind of lens. Like, not only do I watch it as, like, an audience member, I'm also watching it as an actor, and it's interesting is, like, I was telling you about how there's a script, and then, like, every actor will take that script, and they have to kinda mold their performance to how they feel like this is what they think the interpretation of the character is. Of course, you collaborate with the director and writer and the whole team, and yeah, it was great. Like, some of the highlights was, like, yeah, you mentioned the POV because I think seeing it through her perspective made me understand the movie a little bit more because it's interesting. This child just lost her grandmother that is like means the world to her, and like her whole world is shaken up. So we're watching her go back into the world and try to navigate through a tough time, and that's a rough age. At 8 years old, you're kind of finding yourself. Like being a kid, I didn't think about it at the time because we're kids. But when you look at it through an adult lens, you're like, man, we had it rough as kids. Like you're just trying to figure yourself out in the world, and your environment, the people around you, whether they're somebody that's in your life or somebody who just comes in, like Sarazade, and they can just shape you.
Or like religion
Religion too, yeah, religion plays
in
a
this
big
movie,
factor in that too.
you know?
So, yeah, like the POV, I definitely like that. I did like the story,
Yeah, the
the
story's
acting,
good.
especially with Elena and Sarazade, and the grandma was also great, the abuela. And then I also liked how with the story, it took us in directions that we were not going to go in, as I elaborated earlier. Like it took us in strange directions, even though it definitely did hit familiar beats for us in terms of like we all could relate to
Life
some
experiences,
life experiences, especially with your parents, death, friends, meeting somebody that kind of
beliefs,
changes.
cultures, right?
Yeah, culture, and then the religion factor you brought up. That was a very interesting way they handled the religion aspect as it kind of like collides with her regular world. And so yeah, and moving over to a different side of it, were there any parts of the film you didn't like about Go Girl?
It was a little I mean, it was a short film, obviously, but there was some parts where I think, maybe, for example, the part where remember when she's cutting her hair, and then the mom's like just an example, a small example, um, "What have you done?" Right? And that's it. And then it just cut off right there, right? And then it went to the next, scenario, right? Or like the part where the guy they found the dead guy,
Oh,
remember?
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's another example, right? Where it was a good movie. It just I think they could, maybe
Taking more time.
yeah, taking a little more time, certain scenarios.
Yes, that would be a similar thing with me is I do wish we had a little bit more time in certain situations, or also, like, especially with Sarazade, like, at one point, we were wondering when that was gonna come into play. Yeah, I think that it touches on certain things. It doesn't fully dive in, and I think that's just because you and I wanted to know more about the movie, where it's not like we were uninterested. We were definitely interested. It's just we didn't have, given the story and the runtime, it was like they're gonna briefly touch on these certain things, and that is something that's actually one of my this basically we're on the same page here. Is I do wish we had more time with certain things, but let me tell you, that is that is a courtesy in this world, is you just want more time with these characters. So yeah, that very similar on that. Um, what did you think of the story of this? Like in dealing with, we're gonna deal with, what, with this. I'll let you tell us what you think of the story, and then we'll go through some of the certain beats of it.
Okay. Yeah, story, I think it was a good story. I mean, you ever kind of described, the movie of coming of age, but it's a good story because the girl, she's like you said, she's trying to discover herself, and but she's going through all these different feelings and the tragedy and everything. And then when she just decides to just, run away basically, right? And get away from her household, which is because her mom and dad are not doing so great either. And it just, I really like the story because then, towards the end too, you see how that experience, for the mom and dad, it must have been like a traumatic experience. For, oh, their daughter's gone, right? She disappeared. You know what I mean? But she's over here like wandering the world, I guess, in a way with her the what's the name, Sarah's, I can't,
Sarazade.
Sarasate, and she's you know looking, I guess, at the world different through different, well, not only point of view, but the different people, different cultures, right? And she's just and then at the end, I really like the part where the parents are like, it was like a humbling experience for them, that the daughter's back with them, reunite again, and now it seems like they kind of changed their perspective in life too, because they were too worried about other things, whether it's the financial situation that they had going on. It seemed like the parents weren't really getting along either. They were having some issues also, and then the drinking with with the dad. So I think it was definitely a good story. And then the ending, she found us on her dad commuting. She's actually finally making that happen too.
Yeah. I really like the story myself because I could relate a lot to Elena. Is like, growing up, I didn't have, I had to kind of figure things out on my own. Like, my parents were divorced, so, like, they didn't have time. They were going through their own thing. Like, same with her parents. They were dealing with similar issues. I was dealing with that with step parents. And then, like, she didn't have any siblings. I have siblings, but I didn't grow up with them. So I understood about trying to go out in this world, and then your friends really shape you. It's like Hermine Sarazade really shaped her, and then like also dealing with the friends you do have, and they're
But yeah,
being
there were
yeah they're being bullies to a particular girl whose mom died, and they're just like I really related to the story. I really liked the story. I just like we talked about earlier. I wish there was a little bit more time.
the grandma thing for me too. It kind of hit home too a little bit because I was really close to my grandma.
Yeah,
So for that part with the whole grandma, you know, it was also like a really sad, touching moment for myself too.
Yeah, I was telling you that, like, I didn't really know my grandparents on either side. I had a step grandma who was really instrumental in me growing up, and she was basically yeah, I mean, we were really close and, like, yeah, it's fun to have somebody like that in your life because they think the world of you and they have more time for you, and that's why I like that relationship, especially in the story was even though it was brief, was the grandma, the
With the grandma.
abuela, and Elena because, like, it was beautiful because, like, that's what life is all about really is the moments you have with these people, your loved ones, right?
Yeah, time.
Yeah, so we'll go through some of these, things, and you just tell me what you think of them. Let's talk about the arrival of Sherazade. Basically, we see her and her family dancing in this little courtyard of in these around these apartments. What did you think of that storyline? That's the first time Elena and Sherazade are going to basically meet.
Yeah,
What'd you think of that?
it was interesting. You have this gypsy family. They're not asking for handouts. They're actually working there, entertaining, trying to get make some money, right? Just to eat, and get by from day to day basis. Uh, it was and then they're like in the middle of the plaza, just dancing, singing, and then have the gold, right? The gold, which is I guess kind of like dancing, and it was and that's the first time I guess Atlanta was very was curious about her, all of them and the whole family and the whole dancing and culture and all of that, their
Yeah,
music.
yeah, and she's gravitating toward it
Yeah,
while also seeing the black goat and being nervous because of the religion
yeah,
aspect of
hmm
what she's what they're telling her about the goat. But yeah, the whole Sarazade's debut, it's an interesting factor for Elena because she's different from everyone else. She grew up in this, this foundation of religion, right? Sarazade's family is not religious, and they have a goat, so it conflicts. And speaking of that, and there's a later scene where they play music, and Elena finds a coin in her grandma's room after her grandma has passed, which we'll come back to that in a second. And she basically puts it in something and drops it down. We see that a bunch of people drop things like coins and stuff down. We even
money.
see one guy
Yeah,
shirtless, which I was like, "You need to put on a shirt, sir." I know what that's like. You got to put a shirt on, okay? Let me ask you: were you if you were Elena's character? Do you think that you would drop a coin for them? And if you did, would it just be in that similar type of thing she put in? Like it was like a bow or something, right? Like,
Uh,
do you
some kind
think?
of cloth, right, or
Yeah, would
something.
you drop a coin? Were you or you think no?
I would. I think I would. I mean, if I have it, I would. Why
Yeah.
not?
I think they're talented enough to
Yeah,
be able to, do that. Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing you can do in life is put yourself out there and you hope that people enjoy it, right? Like like when you see like we've seen it in our whole lives, street performers, especially being out in California. It's a tough thing to put yourself out there. So, and let's move over to really what sets the chain of events that's going to happen in Go Girl is Abuela dies. And, what did you think of that aspect? I mean, we knew that was gonna happen because of the synopsis and the trailer, but that whole setup, what'd you think of that with the family? Like, basically, Elena comes in, and they basically push her out
yeah.
because
I think it was wrong. How I mean they didn't let her come into the room where after her grandma has passed away. They should have just let her, you know what I mean, and said her final goodbye. But they didn't want, I guess, Elena to see her grandma like that, you know. But
Yeah, that was sad. That was sad for me because, like, even in the early beginning of the movie, I think like the first 15 minutes, it's already established that Elena's abuela is the most prominent person in her life because she generally cares about what's going on with Elena, especially in the beginning with the ballet. She wants to see her do it, and the parents are not as they're not as focused on her because they're dealing
yes,
with the everyday struggles of life and what comes with it, money and just everything. And so I felt very bad for her. Like my heart broke for her that her grandma died. But I think the parents thought they were doing the right thing by not letting her go in there. But I agree with you. They should have let her go in there. And I think they should have probably talked to her because I don't think at any point in this movie it's ever brought up about the death. But I think they should have properly let her grieve because I mean this is a big person in her life. You can't just be like, all right, we'll deal with it later. But I did like the abuela. I think she was. That's
yeah.
what we need in life. We need
Like the
somebody like
part
that.
when she's dancing, right? Just today, go ahead and dance for me, and here, play the music. I guess she knew she was in her last moment, so she was just like, you know what, just let's have fun, let's enjoy our time together. And that's something
Yeah.
that I don't think the parents understood, you know?
No, she couldn't go. She was under the
Yeah,
weather, so she has her play a cassette tape because this is set like in 19 I think it's set in like the late 80s. And so she's dancing, and then I believe the mom's like they're saying the music's too loud. The mom comes in is like, the music's too loud. And then she says like she says the father wants to come visit, and the grandma's like, I'm not worried about that. I want to just spend time with my granddaughter. And I'm just like, that's exactly what it comes down to, is that's what Elena needs. She needs that focus.
attention,
Yeah.
attention.
And then let's talk about school. Elena goes to school, and she basically gets pulled into this group of like three other girls, and they do like this little dance routine. And then another girl tries to join, and that little girl is told no, and they basically want her to leave. Now we see Elena's conflicted about this, but we find out later after that girl that wants to come in that gets told to leave, that girl's mom died. And the other girls were basically saying that she's the favorite because of that. What did you think of that aspect? We could all relate to that. I mean, I don't know about mom's death, but we can relate to being excluded from something, right?
Yeah, yeah, they were just being jerks, to be honest. Kids being jerks, Uh, I mean, I think we all dealt with people like that at one point or another, you know what I mean? But it was definitely a tough situation to watch for a little girl that age. Her mom just passed away, and then you have the kids, basically not excluding her out just because they think, like you said, she's being the favorite now.
Yeah, there's a maturity level
Yep,
that those kids have not reached yet.
exactly. Yeah.
And, I felt bad for her because I remember that vividly. I've been in that situation more times than I care to admit as a child, and to be excluded is the worst. And let me tell you, man, growing up in school, it is the worst because kids are so mean. I couldn't imagine doing it today with cell phones and filming. Absolutely not. I'd rather be rejected by friends without cameras, right? Could you imagine that today? That would be rough, right? Like you get told on camera, like, "You suck." No. Like, you can't come into the group. But I felt bad for that girl because her mom died, and that is a traumatizing event that is going to really affect her for the rest of her life. And so Elena looks conflicted, and Elena does try to talk to her, but the religion aspect comes back into play was like, like I think Elena says like my grandma died and she went to heaven, and then the other girl's like, well, my mom died and she's in the dirt. And she's like, no, no, she either went to heaven or hell. And there's this confliction because Elena has not is this is a coming of age story, so she hasn't figured out who she is. And they kind of get into an argument, and Elena kind of gets upset and storms off. It's just like, I don't know. She goes to heaven or hell. There's no dirt. And that little girl was just basically saying her dad told her that her mom's just in a forever sleep. And I was wondering in that situation, because I'm not religious myself. In that situation, do you think that you would get into an argument like that, or you just like agree to disagree? Like trying to think of yourself as a child.
Okay.
Like I don't think I would not even. I remember being pretty mellow as a kid, so I don't think I would argue
Yeah,
about
even
that.
as a child, I think I would just agree to disagree,
Yeah.
honestly, because I'm not, I wouldn't be there trying to especially if someone just lost their mother. I wouldn't try to make it worse for them.
Yeah, and also, do you think you would let her into the group?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you saw the part when she's asking her, and then
Yeah.
she's like, "Hey, well, what about you, Elena? How do you feel about this?" And
She did the head down. We did it, right? We all do
Yeah.
that. We put her head down
Yeah.
like, oh.
But I guess she was just trying to be cool with the other kids. I don't know.
Yeah. That's something that we go through in many stages in life. As a kid, we do it, we're the worst, right? Because we want to impress. Let me tell you, as an adult, stop doing this. It does not help. It just makes everything worse. You want to know why? Because the thing about life is the people that you think that are like the ones that are not considered cool, they're the ones who always turn out to be like the coolest people in life because they're the ones who end up like, I don't know if you ever noticed that. Like, I remember like after high school that the people that people would call nerds, I'm like, I like those people because like they're different, they're unique, they like what they like, and nobody cares. But as a child, you're like, no, like you either say no or you do the head down. So, and speaking of the goat, let's go back to Sarazade with the goats. As a kid, because you did tell me off mic, you don't have to if you don't want to share, but you were a little bit religious back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole first community thing, I went through that,
Okay.
so that could definitely relate to that too.
Do you fear the
Um,
goats as a child?
I guess in a way, as a child, uh, I mean, I never fear him like that, but could see why she was
Oh, having those nightmares?
freaked out. Yeah, nightmares about the goats and stuff like that, or hearing and seeing stuff, is because how the devil kind of resembles a goat, right? Like a human,
That's what I've heard.
So, well, I mean, at least that's what we hear, right? So, but I could see why she was kind of freaked out by the goat too, in a way. And then also the goat, you know what I mean? And like I was telling you off mic, you know, um, in other religions or cultures could represent, I mean, different things, good things and bad things too. Specifically more of black gold, it could represent even more of like a demonic, right? Kind of something out of the nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the witch
The
really
witch,
opened my
yeah,
eyes.
exactly. The
That
witch,
movie, The
yeah,
Witch, opened my eyes to it.
yeah. So it just, I mean, that's what I think about it. But I mean, as far as the the goat, but
I might have been the devil back in the day because my dad had me drinking nonstop goat's milk as a child. Like, I was constantly drinking goat's milk. Like it would be like I would have lunch and I'm like, I'm gonna have goat's milk. It would be breakfast prior to that. I'm like, I want to have goat's milk. I was drinking so much goat's milk, it was insane. Like, I don't know why. It's so sour and bitter, I think, if I remember it. Did you ever drink
yeah,
goat's milk?
yeah, it's
And yeah, apparently it's good for me, but according to in terms of the devil, it's the worst. But I'm just like, I don't care. I'm drinking goat's milk. Yeah, I've never feared goats. If I had any nightmares, true story, the only nightmares I ever had was when I saw the movie Candyman. That gave me nightmares. Like, I thought he was coming to get me. I don't know why. I was convinced that he was gonna get me. Did you ever have any, like, what would be like if you had to think of like what's one animal that you would have a nightmare about? I'll do this one too.
I mean, just I guess you could say demonic entities, which is
Uh,
kind of. I mean, if it did, if I did get nightmares, it would be something demonic, obviously,
like paranormal activity type of demonic entities?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Something that I can't really describe, but it just, like, remember the scene where
Yeah, the footprints, right?
she hears the foot,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's right, and they slammed the door,
You know
right?
what I mean? And
Yeah.
then, so, like, I could kind of relate to that part because, when you're a kid, you have a lot of imagination, right? And you kind of, your imagination just running wild. Whether you see things or hear things or not, it's a different story. But when I saw that part, it did kind of remind me sometimes as a kid, sometimes, just having these nightmares and then just kind of like you wake up, right? And you're freaking out, right? And you kind of there like, like remember when she was praying up
Yeah.
every time she had like a nightmare or something, and so that was definitely a part where I'm like, okay, as a kid, I could definitely relate to that too.
Yeah. But you know what I always say about the demonic entities?
Mm.
Don't start none, there won't be none.
No,
You
yeah.
never have to worry. If you don't start it,
Yeah,
because I don't believe in them personally myself, but like her seeing I'm not gonna lie to you, the goat freaked me out. There was that one scene
yeah,
where he looked like he was wearing a tux or something. I don't know what it
yeah.
was.
You just hear and he just appear out of nowhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
What animal could freak you out in a dream, like, that would make you as scared as Elena was in Go Girl?
I guess maybe like a bat, like a bat would, even though I love you know what I mean? But I guess a bat would definitely like freak me out for sure, I guess, in a dream.
I'm trying to think, okay, what would freak me out? Oh my god. I mean, this is about to be really strange. You know what would really freak me out is, you know what a narwhal is? It's those sea creatures with the big metal rod in like, it's like a note. Have you ever seen those? That would freak me out because I'd be like, "What is that? Like, what is that?" Like, first off, why is that out of water? They're not scary, but let me tell you, would that not freak you out? Like, a narwhal pops in, like, yeah, you'd be like, "What the hell?" Like, but I mean, obviously, like, a shark would freak me out if I saw a shark, but then again, I'm not in water, so I should be okay, right? Yeah, right? Like I'm not in water and I just see it and I go, "Okay, well, he's not gonna make it if he can't breathe." Um, let's see, what else do we have here? Okay, let's talk about Elena's parents. I mean, it's established in the beginning that they already have financial issues and that they don't seem very happy together. And that is something that like I personally can relate to because I watched my parents fight together and then with their own with their future partners, my step parents. What did you think of that aspect? Because I mean, dude, I don't know about you. I've always said do not argue in front of your kids.
Yeah.
Never.
I agree because I've been there myself too with my parents, fighting, arguing in front of us.
Yeah.
Not pleasant.
No.
and
It's awkward.
scary,
Yes.
awkward.
Because you're like, is it like my whole life could be over if
Yeah.
they separate.
Yeah. So it was definitely not I mean, besides the financial burden with the whole community thing that they're having to deal with, and then the death of their, the grandma, but it's just like dad seems like he has a little bit of a drinking, problem. You
Yeah, that's
remember?
right. Yeah, because like the way like he comes in while Elena's getting her hair done by her mom, and he's all nice, and it's so weird because we've seen him. It's not like he wasn't nice, but like he was more stern. He comes in like really sweet. He kisses her. He kisses the wife, and then she's like, "You stink." And then we see the alcohol bottle. It's a perfect the way Ana Asensio did this shot where like the way the alcohol bottle comes in. It's amazing because right then there you and I were both like, "Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's why he's so cool."
Because
And
before that, he was kind of being
he was really
Yeah,
mellow.
yeah.
Yeah, he was really like really interested. And then that particular scene's really interesting was Elena asking her mom prior to dad coming, like, "After communion, are you a different person?" And the mom's like, "It was so many years ago, I don't remember." And then she asked the dad, right? Same thing. I never did the communion. You did, right?
I did.
Were you a changed person after it?
To be honest,
You're like, "It was many years ago."
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of feel like they do. I don't remember. It's been so many years ago, but I mean, I mean, to be honest, I just felt like any other day,
I think the thing about it is the way they built it up for the kids. I think kids feel like they're going to be different because the way they're talked about this whole thing, we see parts of it through the class with the padre, right? We see it, so it makes it sound like it's going to change. I don't think I personally, I'm like I said, I'm not religious. I don't think it's going to change. I think what's going to change for her is the events that are happening in this movie. That's what really is going to shape her. Is not the communion. It's in the background, but what's really happening is life. And so the parents, so let me tell you, it was heartbreaking to watch because there's another aspect of the mom and the dad are arguing that they're struggling and the mom wants to go back to work and the dad's like, "No, you gotta take care of Elena." She's like, "Well, she's about to go through first communion. Like she doesn't need me anymore. And there's that conflict too. So yeah, I did like that there's things about it that we can relate to. Bullying, uh, family trauma, dealing with death, and parents not being, and also another thing I don't think we even talked about was the parents don't really seem like they like each other
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah, there's a misery that like you don't understand this until you get older and you start dating somebody and you realize like at some point, this is sad to say this, but we've all been there at some point. You've dated somebody and you're just like, or
Can't stand them.
yeah, you're married and you're just like, I just gotta get through the day tomorrow. But like you don't but like the thing that I don't have kids, nor do you, but like having kids, that's hard because like I can't sit there and judge them. I just wish that they maybe just didn't argue because I know what it's like as a kid to see that. And you were talking about the same thing. Like it definitely has an effect on you. You know, we're both like, we're not gonna be like our parents, right? Like, yeah, for sure, we're like, never argue. Um, Now let's talk about the first communion lessons. We do get those lessons, which the padre, I gotta be honest, he was having a field day with these kids because they are not figuring it out as fast as he wants. But you went through that. Did you figure it out as fast as were you able to grasp the concept of what first communion was faster than these kids, or you were the same way?
No, to be honest, I'm just like any other kid that age, just it was like a crash course for me. And I was just trying to get it over with, to be honest. What I mean? I'd rather be out there, go play soccer, whatever, baseball with my friends, and so it was. I was just like them, basically. I wasn't really grasping onto it. I was kind of like I told you off mic. I was how do you say
Fake it till you make it, right?
fake it till make it.
Yeah.
That's basically what I
Yeah.
was doing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm being honest. I
Your
was fake.
Padres gotta be so proud of you.
Yeah.
He's like, Juan, faked it till he makes it. Hell yeah, let's go.
Or like the part when the singing, remember I told you about? Like,
Yeah.
I even done that where we were singing. I'm just there like lip singing because I'm just trying to get through
Yeah.
it and just get over it and pass it.
I'm still faking it till I make it, to be honest. I still, when it comes to even doing the happy birthday, I'm mouthing it. I won't even sing happy birthday. I never went through this, but I was telling Juan off mic that I'm pretty sure I would get myself in trouble with my humor. Oh yeah, yeah, because I would have a smart mouth. I mean, I think to be like the Padre, I understood why he was frustrated, but I was like, yeah, but like you got to remember as a kid, man, like if I have the ability to go outside and hang out, I would rather go out there than do this. But I get what you're doing. You're laying a foundation that you hope will help these kids become when they become adults, they have structure and they become like the best versions of themselves. Like I'm not the
Some kind
biggest
of values, right?
yeah, like
Some
like
kind of,
for me, like I'm not a religious person, but I respect people's religious freedoms and let them figure out because in many ways, while I don't and it has no effect on me, there's plenty of people I know who have religion in their lives and it's helped them become better people. So, but I'm just like in my mind when he remember there was that thing where it's like there's four things. It was like about the community. Is it either gift, food,
yeah,
or
party
party or
or
embrace?
embrace, yeah.
And if I'm correct, didn't I get it? I would immediately go embrace.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't even need to be in this class to get first communion. But it's funny. Even as a kid, I probably would have said embrace. But it was funny to watch that. That's what the humorous part for me. There's not a lot of humor in this, but there were some good parts with that because man, did you see his face
Yeah.
every time it was like gift? Didn't Elena say gift? Right? And she says
said,
gift,
Elena said,
gift, right? Because
no, she said, oh yeah,
was
gift
gift.
because of the financial burning.
Yes,
Yes,
you brought
that's
that
why.
up. You actually said that off mic. You go, she's saying this because of her parents arguing. Yeah, I don't blame Elena for saying gift, but yeah, that was a good aspect. Now we're gonna move over to let's talk about the cinematography in terms
Okay.
of like how they shot it. Were there anything that stuck out to you? Did you like the way it was shot, or was there a particular shot that you really liked?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, going back to the first perspective, POV view, I think they did an amazing job with that. Um, remember the scene where the guy
Oh yeah,
that was very like whoa, it just came out because they're just wandering the forest, whatever it was, right?
yeah.
And then
You don't even see, you don't see him originally. You just see
yeah,
like you see his mouth, you see parts of him, and then we get the full.
and the flies are there.
Yeah.
They're just like we're like what the what I mean? You're like, what's going on here? Like, is he dead? Is he sleeping? Or is he passed out? But then like, okay, too many flies, and then it's ants crawling on him. Like, okay, it's definitely he's dead.
Juan and I kept saying out loud, "He's dead." Like they kept saying Elena
they-
and Sarasota are
Yep.
like, "He's just sleeping." Like, and they think it's and the thing about Goat Girl that's real brilliant about this movie is that during this coming of age, they're sharing real life things through the radio or the TV. Like, I think in the beginning, I had said to Juan off mic, I was like, I didn't know heroin was a big deal in Spain, and then there's a kidnapping of somebody. And that's who they think this person is, by the way. And I don't know if that was for sure that person, but I think it was someone who died from a heroin
Yeah,
overdose.
like OD. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
it.
but they think he's alive, so they tie him up. And I kept telling Juan, I'm like, that person is dead, right? And you're like, yes, that person is dead. And speaking of that dead body, like, what did you think of that scene when they discover a dead body? And if you and I were in that situation, do you think we would be, you think we would tie that person up?
No,
as
I
kids?
think we wouldn't even get. I mean, I don't think I would even got near him to
No.
be honest, because I think we would have a little more what is that? Common sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I'm not
think
going there.
like, oh wait, what is this guy just doing here in the middle of nowhere on the couch? Just sleeping. At least according to the girls, they think, right? Yeah, and it didn't look right. It just didn't look right. It didn't seem right.
It was startling,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
and then you see flies flying
Mhm.
around and stuff like that, and yeah, definitely something I would not even go near, to be honest.
Now, when you come on the Tomorrow Comes Movies, you just know that when I watch movies, I'm thinking of the most ridiculous things. Because, like, I feel like movie reviews are fun, but you gotta have a lot of humor. There's a scene where the fly is, like, basically on his lip, and I was telling Juan, I was like, "That thing is vomiting in his mouth." I know he's dead.
And you're a germ freak, so
Yes.
so,
Yes, so you know
so you're
immediately
freaking out. Like,
it's bothering me. Yeah, I even as a kid, I would not have gone near that. I would have been like, "Juan, like, let's just keep our distance." Because, like, what if he is alive? I don't wanna deal with it. Now, the real question is, would we have, do you think we would have done the same thing as Elena and Sarazade? You think we would have went to the payphone and tried to call for the ransom? Do you think we would have done that, or you think we just never discuss it again?
I mean, I think to be honest, I think we would have got straight. I would have got to my parents, or
Yes, I think,
just, hey,
yeah.
this a guy over there, something's not right,
I love how you say that. You don't even say he's dead. You just go, "Mom, Dad, there's a guy over there. There's something's not right." And then
Yeah,
meanwhile, they're going like, "Who's the white boy with you? Where did he come from?" And you're
yeah,
like, "Oh,
right.
by the way, he ran
Oh
away." And
yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
that's right. Because they didn't know she was there, right?
yeah, and then, like, your parents are both, like Juan's parents are both looking, like, at each other, like, "So not only are we dealing with a dead body, are we gonna get charged with kidnapping of this white child? Like, who is this?" Like, if I'm with you. If you're like, if you are the one whose parents are gonna be the first in that situation, I'm like, "We gotta tell your parents." Yeah. I'm not going to a payphone. Germaphobe me going into the payphone using it? Absolutely, not. And I gotta laugh. How many young people saw the telephone booth and go like, "Whoa, there was a time where, like, you
Yeah,
didn't have a cell phone?"
that
Like,
was the thing back.
yes, and the funny thing is that phone booth, it most likely was broken, right? Yeah, oh my god. Yeah, that body was strange to me. But that's part of, and it's funny, the first thing that came to my mind was, like, remember I said to you, I said, "Doesn't that remind you of Stand By Me?" Yeah, and I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know if that was, like, an Easter egg or callback, but it's pretty cool if that was, but, like, yeah, interesting is, like, my coming of age, never saw a dead body. Did you?
I mean, I definitely seen
Like,
people getting stabbed and
what?
shot. Well, when I grew up in Santa Ana back in the
Oh,
day,
okay.
what I mean? But I never saw growing up as a kid, never saw a dead body.
I was like, I've been hanging out with Juan for many
Yeah.
years, and, like, never once during our high school years did we see a dead body. I was like, "Wait, who's
No.
getting stabbed?" And that's crazy,
Yeah, but
yeah.
not like dead, but people getting shot and stabbed, yeah, for
Right.
sure.
And you were still watching, or you took off?
No, of course, freaking out, as
That's
a
right.
kid.
You gotta book it.
Yeah.
You never spectate. In today's
No.
world, they wanna film it. I'm like,
No, no,
"Nah, you
no.
gotta get
No,
out
no,
of there."
I took as a kid, Elena's age, by the way, I
Yeah.
saw the end. No, I'm out of here, you know?
In terms of Goat Girl, would you say that the dead body was the most insane scenario, or her running away?
Definitely her running away, because remember, she just had it with her parents and, I'm out of here. I gotta,
Yeah,
and sh
basically, she feels that she's a burden to her
Mhm.
parents, so she decides to leave, which you and I had a good laugh, was her pulling out the fanny pack, and I'm like, "We need to bring it back." As if I've ever used a fanny pack around you, so, like, why would that need to come back into play? But, like, if you are running away, for instance, what's going in your fanny pack?
uh,
What are the go-tos? You're gonna run away
I
from your
mean,
parents.
it's funny, right? We were talking about
Yeah.
that too, that, like, I
She
guess the what goes through kids' mind,
Yeah.
right? Because the only thing she'd pack was, what, some candy bar, right?
Sugar, and she tried to take her doll and a book,
And then,
she
this
takes out the page of,
paper of, this book, right?
yeah.
And that's it, basically. And, a couple coins that she got from her grandma, but,
Yeah. What's
uh
going through your what do you got
oh, man.
what are the essentials in your
As a
fanny pack?
kid, oh, dude, I mean, I would definitely try to get some money somehow, you know what I mean?
Okay, so money's going in there, what
Yeah,
else?
money,
'Cause you're 8 years old, so
ma
you need some
I
things in
mean,
there.
that maybe like a pocket knife, like some kind of protection that's that's I think that's something that I would definitely cross my mind as a kid, I gotta get a knife or something, pocket knife or something just to,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
2 more things, what are packed? You need
Maybe,
some entertainment.
entertainment, let's see,
You need, like, a toy or, like, like
yeah, I mean, if I could carry maybe like my Walkman back in the day, you know what I mean? My cassette
CD
player.
player,
You know, cassette player, it was still
Yeah.
around. Right? That's
Yeah.
something I would definitely do. You know, I mean, but when I was growing up, we
Yeah.
didn't have cell phones on it, any of
No.
that. So definitely, yeah, something like that maybe.
Okay. And then no toy? Any toy?
A toy.
You're 8 years old at this point. You gotta have a toy.
Yeah, I
right?
gotta have a toy. I guess maybe one of my army soldiers, you know,
Okay.
like G.I. Joes, you know, something like that, because I was big on that as a kid.
Yeah. Okay. What's going in my fanny pack? Okay. Food wise, Reese's peanut butter cups are going in there since I'm a kid, right? You got to think like
Yeah.
a kid. So I'm packing the king size.
Yeah.
My fat
The
ass
king-
is size. Okay. Number 2, gonna piggyback off you, Walkman, but I'm packing a pack of batteries.
Okay.
Because you remember we needed batteries, right?
Yeah, there was no chargers.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm also taking my Game Boy.
okay, that's
Dude, this
good one.
fanny pack is so
That's a good
heavy.
one.
It's gonna turn into a backpack. And then the fourth thing now Juan is smart here because I know for a fact he would take a pocket knife at 8 years old. He's thinking logically, right? But Patrick's not thinking logically. He's thinking of how he's gonna survive for about 10 hours. So he's got a Walkman. He has and he's only gonna have one CD. And he's gonna have his Game Boy. It's gonna be Pokemon. Probably red because that was my thing. And then I have my king size 4 Reese's peanut butter cups. What is the fourth thing? I mean, should this shock you at all, Juan? I need to have one Star Wars figure, and it's gonna be my C-3PO. Yeah. Right? Like
It doesn't shock me because I know you love Star Wars.
you love Star Wars. Can you imagine like the police find me and they go, "Young man, did you think you were gonna make it past 60 minutes with all this?" It's like you have a sugar rush. You know, like it would be insane. Yeah, that would be so she does run away. Uh Matt, wait, you're gonna survive longer than me. With the pocket knife, you're gonna survive longer than me. But yeah, she runs away because she feels she's a burden to her parents. So she sneaks into Sarazade's family gypsy bus. And this made Juan and I laugh so hard because we were not expecting this. If she gets out, she motions to Sarazade, who's like, "Oh my god, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "I ran away." And she's like, "Can I basically stay with you?" And Sarazade goes, "Oh no, my parents would totally tell me off. So peace."
Mhm. Yeah, that was and remember, she stopped for us and looked back again, kind of like as if she just walked away again.
Yes.
I want to say that was probably one of the funniest part of the movie, to be honest, because we were not expecting that. We were like expecting her
No.
like, oh, okay, well, come, you can stay with me then, you know.
Yeah, I thought for sure she'd be like, "Yeah, you can stay with me," or like, but like she was just like, "All right, peace." And then like Elena has to like basically be like, "Hold on," like she calls her back, and then they find a way to get her to stay with the
Mhm.
goat, which is really a funny aspect because
She freaks out about gold.
yeah, because the religion aspect.
Yeah.
So and it's a black goat, so she's constantly worried to the point where I think she has a nightlight or something, like some light on or flashlight, and she looks over and sees the goat, which kind of freaked me out too, right? And then goes and sleep outside. So I wanted to ask you, you're religious like Elena. You're Elena's character. Are you sleeping outside or are you sticking with the goat?
I mean, the way she was so terrified of the gold, I would definitely sleep outside. But on the what's called the bundle of hay,
Yeah,
you
the
know what I
bundle-
mean?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, you and I are both on the same
yes.
page. We're sleeping on the bundle of hay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm comfortable enough to sleep with a goat because I'm like, is it gonna lick my face? Is it gonna like gnaw at me later? So I'm on that hay. There's no way I'm sleeping on
On
the
the ground
bear.
like she did, yeah.
That is wild. I mean, but you're 8 years old, but even at 8 years old, I'm mature enough to be like, I can sleep on hay, right? Like, and so she does run away, and then basically Sarazade does feed her. But it's so funny in her fanny pack. It's like, remember when she pulled out the blow pop? We were or not the blow. It's just a lollipop. We
yeah.
were laughing so hard because you were like 8 years old. That's what you're thinking. I need sugar, right? Like, yeah, like not even anything nutritious. It's just like sugar. But we do see that in this relationship with Sarazade that it took a while to come into play. It was a little slower than we thought, but it does definitely pay off because through her interactions in this friendship, this unlikely friendship with Sarazade, I feel that Elena gained a lot of perspective in life because Sarazade is not religious. Her family is looked down upon for being gypsies, despite the fact that you pointed out they are working. And they live in the middle of nowhere. It's supposed to be an amusement park at some point, so they're gonna be moved off,
Mhm.
right?
I do want to say something though, that very different family structure for sure though.
Yes,
Compared to,
Elena's.
because on Sarasate's family, you see it, right? They're singing, they're dancing. Even I don't mean when they're performing. I mean actually, even when they're home, right? When they're just hanging out, right, having a bonfire and singing, dancing.
There's a love there. Like
There's definitely is more like a family
orientated,
exactly.
And there's a
even
loving
though that's not
aspect.
religious, you know.
Yeah, take out the family, take out the religion aspect. There's this normalcy of like
Exactly.
a loving, orientated family.
Yep.
They want to be around each
Mhm.
other. There's where Elena, there's a religion aspect, but there's not that much love. There's a little bit of neglect.
Not nurturing.
Yeah, not nurturing. That was the word you used. Yeah, nurturing, and yeah, it's not as family oriented.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like you know what I mean, since the grandma died, it's like it's like Elena's on her own basically. And so yeah, there's a difference. Now we get a very big difference is when they talk about they're basically on this adventure. And by the way, none of the parents notice remember we kept laughing that none of the parents ever noticed that there was another girl there. Like I feel like that should have been clearly, but you know, at the end of the day, you're just like it's like one of those things where you're like, it's not that big of a deal. But it just made me laugh because I'm like, are parents just not that? It's the '80s, right? Like, do you care? You're just like, as long as they're back before a certain time, right? Like, what a time that was. Where now you would be panicking, right? Or you would just track them on your phone. But like in this adventure, they're um Sarazade reveals that there is no heaven or hell for them. It's just this really happy place where, if I'm correct, there's candy and cakes, and it's just like And remember, I looked over you and I said, "I think I might rather go there than heaven." Right? Like,
Do you see heaven? Yeah.
So you have to choose between the three. You can go to heaven. You can go to this place where there's cakes and cookies, and I think it's probably a paradise. Or you go to hell. Where do you want to go?
Of course, the
Hell.
candy, the candy. You know the cake and all that. You know what I mean?
Even as an adult, you want to go there.
Yeah, I mean,
It's it's a buffet basically, right?
all you can eat, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically you're going to heaven, diabetes land, or hell. I gotta be honest, going to diabetes because it just sounded way much better. It sounded like there wasn't that many requirements.
Yes.
Like she doesn't have to pray to somebody.
Mhm.
She's just like, hey, when I die, I'm gonna go to this happy place, which is nice because there's no hell. The way she said it, right? There was no hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going there too.
I'll take diabetes.
Yeah, taking diabetes. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and so speaking of that, like when you hear that, like what did you think of that whole aspect? Because Elena's totally thrown off because she's like, there's only a heaven, hell. She doesn't get mad at Sarazade. This is growth. She doesn't get mad because it conflicts with her views. She instead is just like, oh, okay, like that's different. Like, what did you think of that? Like that maturity level.
Yeah, it was different. Her reaction there compared to the other girl that mom just passed away.
Yeah.
She wasn't, how to say it, like trying to push her.
Yeah, she wasn't like get away from me. Like you don't agree with me. Like I don't want to deal with you. Like
Push her religion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beliefs on
push her views, yeah,
views.
basically,
There
and
we
also
go.
like push her away because it conflicts.
Mhm.
That's maturity, and I think that's something that we need in life. Where Sarazade is different than anybody in her life, and I think you need that in life because those are the people that are going to shape you. You know, I always talk about this: is that you meet people in life, and and sometimes the people that you look at, and you're like, they're unlikely to have any impact on me. They will have the most impact on you, and they may not stick around, but their imprint on you will forever last. And I think this particular friendship between Sarazade and Elena will last because it changed her, right? Like she basically they find out the family finds out that there's a girl there. The police show up. They take her. Elena is reunited with her family at the station. And you talk about this. I mean, talk about the emotional aspect of this. Like they are just overwhelmed when they see her. There's no anger. They're just like, they are so grateful to have her. Like they were humbled, as we talked about. Like I was talking to Juan about this in a conversation about just a normal conversation about life, where when your family goes through something, like a particular member of a family goes through something traumatic, the family, even if they're not happy about something, or they will let everything go because it will humbles the family. It also humbles the person involved. And I think we saw that with Elena, right? What did you think of that when Elena's reunited with the family? I think everybody was changed.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I'm glad that it was a happy ending when it comes to her, you know, and reuniting with her family, because it definitely opened the eyes on the parents. Like, hey, you know, we got to spend more time with her. We got to nurture her more.
They took her for granted.
Yeah, they took her for granted, exactly. And then I could also relate to that because, you know, I told you a little bit off mic before, you know, the experience with my brother, you know,
Yeah.
not the greatest relationship, You know what I mean?
But through a
but
tragedy, yeah,
unfortunately, through
yeah.
something that he's going through now, it's
everyone's rallied together.
exactly now
Yeah.
we're as a family, at least we're sticking together and trying to stay as positive as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think for Elena, through her POV, it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm not a burden to my parents. My parents do love me. Like this. And not only did it change me, I'm grateful to be home. Now I just want you to know, if it was me, my dad comes and gets me, because you remember my dad. My dad is not happy. He's like, you, what the fuck? What are you doing? Don't do that. Like, I would get chastised. I don't know if my dad would be as grateful. And I know my stepmom would be like, oh, he's back. He's back. I thought we got rid of him this time. Like, cause like I never got along with my step parents, but like before we get toward the ending, I want to talk about something about this whole Elena being reunited with her parents. There was a pivotal scene where we didn't talk about, where Elena basically goes into her grandma's room periodically. And there's a scene where she puts on a dress and she puts on the lipstick and she lays in bed and she passes out. And the mom comes in, her mom, and is like very nurturing and very empathetic. And they hug and they embrace, right? And then we hear the door shut. Dad comes home, and it's like Kid Cudi day and night. The way that her mom's body language and whole
Yeah.
demeanor changed, where she's like,
whole different person.
yeah, she was just like, okay, open a window. Like, why are you wearing all this? Like, take this off. And like total cold behavior toward the daughter. What did you think of that? That was a pivotal scene that I wanted to bring up. I had to do it with the cops.
I was. It shocked me a little bit because you see her, right, holding her, hugging her, talking to her, and
Yeah, it's just them two.
trying to comfort her.
Yeah, because she needs
And then
it.
she's she went from 0 to 100 like that. You know what I mean? A whole different person.
Yeah,
And,
I remember you and I being like, whoa, what is up with that? Because like,
we were trying to figure out why.
like what is the dad's energy that would cause this?
Mhm.
And to me, it was, I really felt for Elena, because like, you and I being adults now, we look back. I'm sure you could say the same. Like, you look back at your parents and you're like, you know what? They didn't do everything right. They did the best they can. Because it's a tough job to be a parent, right? But I gotta say this, and this is my honest belief. Even as parents, I get it. It's the toughest job in the world, but you really need to think about how you interact with your kids, because it will come back into them as an adults. And so, yeah, that
Could
was
make
really,
them or
yeah,
or
because
really
the trauma never ends.
or mess them up.
Yes, this, that the trauma may not end. A specific interaction like that could have easily come back later, 20 years down the line. Like, Elena goes to therapy. He's like, I remember when my mom was cold to me. So now we're going to talk about the ending. And the ending is they're going to the communion, right? And so, by the way, real quickly, before we go into this ending, I never went through communion. So I'm asking Juan, like, what does the bread taste like? Or with the little, what is it? What do you guys call it?
In Spanish, it's called hostia.
Okay.
But it doesn't really taste like
Anything.
much. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then what about what do you guys drink? What is that?
Taste paper?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like paper in a way.
So it has really no taste?
it's really nothing.
And then you have to drink something too, right?
Yeah,
what is that?
That's supposed to represent the blood of Christ.
Is it like, what is it? Do you know? It's not
like
wine,
it's
right?
supposed to be wine, but obviously for kids, it's not gonna be wine. It's gonna be like
Grape juice.
it's most likely juice. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going through. You know me. I'm gonna ask a stupid question. I have to. You're going through communion now. You get to choose the flavor of the little the little the little cracker.
Yeah.
What flavor do you want?
I guess peanut butter because I love peanut butter.
Okay. I want sour cream and, was it sour cream and onion? I
Sour
love
cream
sour cream and onion. Like, we're telling the Padre, like, okay, real quickly here, put some seasoning on that, because like we really like, and Juan wants peanut butter, okay? And he's just like, guys, what the hell? And like, Padre, can you say hell?
Yeah.
Okay, now with the drink, you let's say we're allergic to grape juice. We need another option. What do you can get anything you want. What do you want?
I guess orange. I'll take orange juice. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You're about to see what Patrick as a child would say. Padre's like, Patrick, what do you want? All right, I'll take a beer, sir. He's like, you must be out of your mind, right? You know that I'm about to have to go in that confessional if you say, okay, what's next? Wine cooler. Patrick, be serious here for a second. what do you want? And I look at him with all serious face and I say, I'll take a vodka. Okay, enough. What do you want? I'm like, okay, no more messing around. I would like a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, there you
He
go.
goes, "We can make that happen.
Yeah,
We can make that happen."
that's a good
Yeah.
one.
But in the ending here, I have to have some humor in this. It's ridiculous. Like we talk about a movie that deals with a lot of monumental issues that are really weighs down a child in their development in life and shapes them. We have to have a little bit of humor here. But at the end, basically, we have the communion ceremony. Her parents are there. They're happy. Elena's happy. We see people going the other kids in her class are going through it. They're accepting it. The time comes, Juan. I want you to talk about I want you to tell me what you think of the ending and what are your thoughts on it, and did you expect that ending the way it went?
Honestly, it was how to say it,
It was an open ending, yeah.
open ending.
You weren't expecting that,
I
were you?
wasn't expecting that,
No.
honestly. I was expecting, like her take it and they just go about their business, and move on with, with their lives. That's what I was expecting. That's what I thought. But it was like open ending, and she's there like looking at, Jesus Christ on the cross, right? And she went, she like, how to say it,
She kept like it's kind of like she was winking at him,
like
right?
winking at
Yeah.
him, like trying to see maybe she get a reaction or
Yes.
something, and then she did the other side, the other eye, and I think she was kind of like,
She was like, "Tough crowd, huh?"
I mean, I think she was still, I guess, in a way, like, I mean, the question, religion in a way.
Mhm.
I mean, trying
Yeah.
to see if I guess, if Jesus is real. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not as strong as it was in the beginning.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But she's definitely happy though. Like you said, right? She looks happy. Everyone looks happy. And then at the end, when the priest father kept asking him, "Hey, we accept," right?
Yeah, he was getting by that third one, he was annoyed. He was like, "Alright, are
And
we
she
doing
was
this
just
or
there,
not?"
like, kind of thinking about it, and then she kind of did like a nod, like I was not expecting that, because we're like, well,
And
what
it
is she
just
gonna?
ends. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just ends, and well, what is she gonna do, or
Yeah.
what if she does,
Alright, well, while you think of that, I'm gonna share mine.
Uh-huh.
So, in the beginning of this movie, her grandma is asleep, and she kinda wakes her up, and she has this book, and she asks Elena to read it to her, and there's a part of the book where it says, like, "Man's fears tell all tales." And I kept thinking of that throughout the whole movie. It was like because, I mean, technically with religion, right, it's written by it's written by people,
By man, yeah.
by men. So, like, like, just humans in general. So, it's all about your faith, right? You believe this is true or not. And so, she kept having that what she read to her grandma, that kept staying with her. So, at the end, when I was kinda thinking, like, I'm like, "Okay," so I'm assuming she was going through it. I thought she was pretty much the foundation was replenished for her and that she's committed to this. So I didn't expect her to be winking, but I mean, I would totally do something like that, not gonna lie, in a humorous way. And so, like, I think that her grandma and Sarazade had this big effect on her where, like, she can still be this good person in the world, but she doesn't necessarily need that strong of religion in her life. And I think that at the end it was her grandma. The man's fears tell all tales, and I think Sarazade's free will of life where I think that shaped her in a way where she was about to do the communion. I don't think she I yeah, and then that's why we don't know what happens. It's kinda up to us, but I think that that really, made me go, "Whoa, like, what?" Like, I didn't expect that in it, and I think that's what made me really enjoy the movie more because I think that it shows you the how the journey in life is unexpected.
Her experience in life,
Yes,
it was, and her free will, right? Like you
yes.
said, right? Yeah.
Your experiences in life will shape you, and sometimes religion doesn't have to play a big part in it. It can be just 2 people in particular, Sarazade and her grandma, and how and so I wanna ask you, what did you take from the ending? What do you think happened in the ending? Did she do it or not?
I don't think she did it. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think so.
That's what I think. Because I think she was still, how to say, counterplaying, or her beliefs, I guess. But it didn't seem like she took it. I mean, it just, I don't think she did.
I don't think she did it per se myself. I think that
I think she has this clarity from her this experiences with her grandma or with her abuela's death. I think with Sarazade's encounter, and I think also with the girl whose mom died.
Yeah.
I think those shaped her in a way where I think she knows what's right and what's wrong. And I think religion was just basically a guiding light, but I think life was the real force at hand.
Yeah.
And so I think that she didn't take it. I'm pretty sure the family's not happy. I can guarantee you, mom and dad, that happiness, it went quick.
Prince is not happy either, for sure. The padre.
The padre definitely. He's
Yeah.
by the 8th time, he's like, "Are we doing this or not?" And you hear me in the background. It's because it tastes like paper. Um, and I wanted to, and the last thing I want to touch on before we get into the final questions is Sarazade says goodbye to her prior to all this.
Oh, yeah.
She's gonna move into an apartment, and she does mention this during their adventures that she's not gonna move because she wants to keep her goat named Lola. But and a maturity comes into play where she's like, "I'm gonna finally get an apartment like yours." But Lola, I have to sell her, and they say goodbye to each other. And the narration, by the way, we didn't talk much about the narration, but the narration's great because it really helps us throughout the movie, kind of give us an idea of what's happening. But the narration says that they never saw each other again. But like I said, there's this impact. What'd you think of the goodbye?
Yeah. Yeah, she did say it. Remember, she's like, we never saw each other again, but I would always remember, like, basically saying, like, she will always remember
Yeah.
Sarasate.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I think we all been through, at one point in our lives also, right? Like that we say you meet someone and then they make an impact on your life and you never see them again. So,
Yeah.
so I think for the most part, most of us could relate to that too.
Yeah,
You know?
I love that. I'll be honest with you, I struggle with that. If anything, I struggle with the goodbye because change is hard, man. Like saying goodbye to people that you really care about or they have some impact, it's always heartbreaking because you know that things will never be the same again. You know, like you and I actually didn't talk for over a decade, right? Like yeah,
Yeah, I think you
close
said
to
it was like 13 years.
13 years, yeah, and
Mhm.
then we just basically
Reconnected.
reconnected through a mutual friend who was like, "Hey," basically, this mutual friend, shout out to Angel, he's like, "Hey, Juan's looking for you," and then I go and look at these messages, by the way, and it's just like from last year, he's like, you're like, "Hey, it's Juan, I've been trying to get hold of you," and all I had to do was approve the message, but, like, I didn't know because 'cause you're based off of your profile, I
Yeah.
would never have guessed, I thought you were a bot, but, like, we picked up, like, where it never we picked up, like, we picked up where we left off. But you're not gonna get that with everybody. You meet people and it's just like, "We had our time. See you later." And so I was sad. It was bittersweet for me because I knew that she was gonna be a different person in a good way, but, like, it was sad because they were such good friends to each other in that limited amount of time. So, yeah, it was definitely one thing I'm learning is you sometimes you just have to let go, and it's okay, you know, even if it's not at the moment. But
Yeah.
let's get into the final questions is, did you like this movie or not? Goat Girl, did you like it or not?
Yeah. I thought it was a good movie.
I would say I liked it. Okay. Now, well, let's get into this is where it's interesting. Out of 100%, Juan, what would you give Goat Girl? You're going to be a critic for once.
Okay. I want to say like 75%.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
We're very close. 77 for me. I think it's a solid coming of age movie. I think it definitely opened my perspective on religion. Even if I'm not super religious and even though the movie went a different way, I think it was an interesting aspect. I could relate to a lot of Elena's situations.
Growing up as kids, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and so I think and I think it was interesting for me because I haven't watched many films from Spain, and it was a really good glimpse into Spain in this particular
Same
time.
here.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I haven't, to be honest, I haven't watched many movies from Spain either. So
yeah,
it was something new for me too, for sure.
and I think that's and in a way, this movie will shape us as we finish this podcast episode. It's going to shape us where we walk out with a different perspective because it definitely left me thinking about life more. I don't know about you. I thought about life as we're recording this. I've been thinking about the movie, and so um, the last couple questions here. Do you think this is a film you would revisit and or buy on physical media if available on physical media, which I hope it is?
I would, I would definitely, I wouldn't mind definitely watching it again. Would I buy it on physical media? Probably not, but I would definitely like if when it comes out, I would definitely on one of the platforms, networks, whatever.
Yeah.
I would definitely watch it. Why not?
Go Girl, I would definitely rewatch. I would definitely recommend this movie to people because I think this is a movie that people should check out. I love physical media. It was a very good movie for me to buy, and the best part about it is if this movie does not get a U.S. physical media release, I have a region free Blu-ray player, so I can go buy one from a different country and play it. So I definitely would own it. And now this movie was part of the hidden gems of cinema, and I wanted to ask you. Do you think this movie will become a hidden? Do you think this movie classifies as a hidden gem of cinema? And do you think this is a movie that people will definitely discover and be like, "Why didn't I watch that earlier?"
I don't know if it'll be a hidden gem, but for sure, I think people will definitely, if they watch it, they'll be like, okay, you know what? I should have watched it. It was a, it's a good movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a hidden gem of cinema because I think it's a movie that I think many people may not be like they wouldn't like if this played in theaters, would you watch it in theaters? I would
Yeah.
for sure.
After that when you sent me the trailer, like I said, I would definitely caught my interest. I'm like, okay, I will definitely watch it in theaters. Why not?
Yeah, I think it's a hidden gem because I think it's one of those movies that will eventually pop up somewhere on a streaming service, and then people watch it and they're like, "Oh man, like that was interesting. That was really good. Like why have I not seen this earlier?" And I think the thing about hidden gems of cinema, this movie series I've been doing, is I think it highlights a lot of movies that have already came out, really, like they've had their full release. And I think that you look back on them and I go like, those are movies that like the best movies to me are the ones that you don't know about. And I think that's why Go Girl will end up as a hidden gem of cinema now and for the
Mhm.
years to come. And I hope that it finds an audience because I think it's a story that everybody should definitely tune in for. And so that wraps up Go Girl. And I want to thank Kelly for the opportunity. And I want to thank everybody who was a part of the Go Girl team because this was a fantastic film. And I am very honored, along with Juan, to have watched this movie because I love watching movies, all types of movies, but international movies are always something that I gravitate toward. And this is a movie that, if it was playing in theaters, I would gladly in my area would flock out and see. And I think it was a great opportunity for me to check out a movie that I definitely would have saw down the line and been like, why didn't I see that earlier? So I just want to thank Kelly and everybody who made this movie. Ana Asensio, you created something remarkable, and I cannot wait to go through the rest of your movies because I was telling Juan that according to the IMDb page, she was the narrator of this. So I definitely want to see what other films she has in that she's come out with because this definitely got my interest. What about you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would definitely be interested in checking out some of her other work. You know what I mean? For sure.
And when she comes out with something new, showing up as well.
Yeah.
And we can't thank Juan enough for coming on. I have to say, I usually say this to all my guests. If people would like to follow you, I don't know if you have anything that you want to share. If not, it's okay.
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't really do social media.
He
It's
doesn't
just-
want to be your friend. He just literally just said to you, I don't want any of you as my friend. And you know what? That's okay because I'm his friend. But we thank you. And I hope that this is your first ever podcast,
Yeah,
right?
first ever. Actually,
How did you feel?
I'm gonna lie, a little nervous at first, just because I never done this before,
Yeah.
and on camera and all the stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you make it really smooth, I guess. I mean, very you make people feel comfortable. You know what I mean?
I appreciate
I mean,
that.
it's not just a fan factor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, besides that, I mean, it's a whole new thing for me.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Either way, you still made me feel comfortable, and and it was just flowing. You know what I mean? Just
Well, thank you. I have to buy you dinner now for these kind of compliments. Wow, I don't get this very often, but yeah, no, I try to. Tomorrow Comes Movies is always everybody's welcome to come onto the show that I know, or if they're like an awesome Twitter mutual, because we're just having a conversation about movies, right? Like, there's no judgment, and I think that's the thing that separates me from a lot of people. Outside of you saying, like, if you would have said Meryl Streep was like the worst actor, I would have probably jumped over this table and assaulted you. I'm not gonna lie to you because I love Meryl Streep, but you definitely wouldn't say that. But we definitely hope that you come back because I definitely would love to have you come on for a different movie and review because I think you definitely would be fun to talk about a movie of yours that you really love. Like because most of the time when you do this podcast, people come onto the show. Everyone chooses the movie. This one, I was just like, hey Juan, would you be interested in checking out this movie? And I didn't know what you were gonna say, but I'm glad that you came on because this was a wonderful opportunity.
I mean,
to talk about.
I'm glad you invited me because obviously it's just kind of like you saw, you just like, hey, you want to check out the movie? Like, yeah, okay, I'll check it out. Let me see the trailer. Then you checked it out, okay. So it's like it's always nice to sometimes, like you said, check out movies that are not very
Get out of your comfort
familiar,
zone.
very
Yeah.
popular. That you kind of just, oh, you know what? I should check this movie out too.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Yeah. Now you and I will always remember. Like, remember when we saw Goat Girl, and we remember Sarazade being like, "All right, peace, see you later."
Yeah.
But thank you for coming on, and
Yeah.
we will definitely have you return.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Juan, for coming on to the show. We thank you very much. Thank you to Kelly for the opportunity to review Goat Girl. It was a fantastic film. I had a blast talking about it with my friend, and I really appreciate you letting me experience cinema. And also, real quickly here, I need to apologize. I don't know why I kept saying Anya, but it is Ana Asensio. I don't know why I kept saying Anya, because I think I say Ana in the beginning, and then after that, it goes in Anya. And I apologize because you created a fantastic film in Goat Girl, and I apologize for saying your name wrong. But Ana Asensio, you are somebody I'm going to be looking out for moving forward when your movies come out after this. But yes, folks, this is the end of the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, if you're listening to this on the podcast apps, wherever one you choose, make sure you hit the follow button so you can stay up to date when new episodes drop. If you're watching the YouTube version, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to stay up to date when new episodes drop. And social media wise, you can find us everywhere on social media at TOCMovies, the same handle at TOCMovies on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and Blue Sky. And the reason why I didn't say anything about the YouTube link is because if you want to save yourself some time and energy and you don't want to type, just look in the episode description or the show description, wherever you're listening at the podcast or watching it, and you'll find the link tree, and you can go there, click on it. It'll take you to every link that I just mentioned, the podcast apps, YouTube, and the social media links. And we will be back with more episodes. And I'm feeling feeling a little bit better. That break is necessary. And so I'm hoping that I come back rejuvenated for you guys, because sometimes when I do these outros, intros, these are done right before an episode is going to drop. And sometimes I feel like I sound like I'm out of it, because I have been lately. So I'll be back. Wow, I just did like a Terminator reference. And I can't wait to talk movies with some of you. But yeah, that wraps it up for me. I'm the Patrick, your host. Until next time, stay tuned for another episode of Tomorrow Comes Movies.